Right. So speaking about you leaving the state, I don't know if you're ever coming back. I'm gonna be
I
honest.
want to come back.
I don't think you're coming back, man. I was looking at prices for Milwaukee apartments, and I was like, this dude David, he sold his shit, and he hasn't told any of us because like those prices are cheap for his studio, bro. It's like a grand,
Really? Whoa.
bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was
I've
shocked.
got
And
cousins
they're
out here.
beautiful apartments. They're beautiful
Oh yeah,
apartments.
they are super beautiful apartments. The whole area is like just like booming with people. I mean, with everything going on and stuff, everything is like light in terms of people going out and about. Because I've gone to a couple bars already, but I mean,
Okay.
going to a bar now feels like I'm forcing it. You know, like I'm forcing myself to go to a bar just because I haven't been to one in forever. It's more like, why do I want to go to a bar? Like, I'm so tired of people already. You know what
Why
I mean?
wouldn't you want to go to a bar?
Well,
So okay, so what are the conversations you have with women when you're hitting on them? Are you vaccinated or like what?
are
Like
you
what do you say to
vaccinated?
them?
That's funny. I was actually on Tinder, fucking, because Tinder is fun sometimes, and I'm just swiping. And
Oh,
over,
you're on Tinder in Milwaukee?
you have, well, because
Okay.
over here in Milwaukee, I'm like a nine. You know what I mean?
You gonna show them the Milwaukee Bucks,
I,
huh?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna show him
I
this
feel it.
buck. I'm gonna show him this buck. You know what I mean? This buck, and for sure, like the uh the one thing like I like about being out here is that like yeah, I'm like a nine out here, right? So on Tinder, I'm
Wow.
like just getting matched left and right. Honestly, that's like one of my favorite things about being out here is that like I feel uh like a stud. Versus in California, like the moment I touch down in California, I go back down to like a six. You know, like my power level drops, everything, like all my buffs, everything is
It's
gone.
not over 9,000 anymore,
It's
huh?
not over 9,000 anymore. No, it immediately drops to like below below that level of attractiveness. But what about you?
Yeah.
Like you ever think about moving out anywhere else besides living in LA?
Oh, all the time, bro. I'm telling you, I looked at apartments in Milwaukee, and when I saw they were a grand, I was like, "Damn, I
Bro,
might
if
have
you
to
move
go
out
out
to
there."
Milwaukee, dog, you'll never have to worry about anything, bro. I got my family out here. I'll have you out here. You'll basically,
Man,
yeah. And you could get like
might have to do it. We
bro,
just might have to do it.
if you want,
Let's
you could
talk
rent
about it.
after
Yeah, yeah,
later.
go
Yeah,
on.
okay. No, I was just gonna say, we'll talk about it later. But
Yeah, I mean, when we're in Japan, we can have that discussion.
dude, we're probably not going to Japan for at least another year. This had nothing to do with us not being able to like actually
I'm going
plan
to
it.
Japan.
No, I'm serious, bro. I want to go, but we can't. They won't let us in. They just won't, even if we're vaccinated.
Bro, I'll coyote my ass.
Coyote your
Stop
ass.
playing with me.
Dude, I'm sure. I wonder. Yeah, you'd have to go by boat. You'd have to go by boat. You'd have to get onto a cargo ship or something. Don't get stuck in the
That's
Suez
fine.
Canal.
Damn.
Yeah. Nah,
I got
but
dark real fast.
nah, but what did you want to talk about? I asked you before we came on this podcast because you know me. I'm always talking about random shit.
Yeah, well, today's 420.
Oh shit!
So
Happy
let's
420.
celebrate that first off. You know, if you're not smoking, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're a loser in
You're,
my eyes.
you're gonna be
No, I'm just
surprised.
kidding.
Huh? No, you're
I'm
gonna be
kidding.
surprised that I'm not smoking right now. I lost my G pen, my wax pen out
Oh,
here. Well, actually, I
I didn't
lost it.
even know you owned a wax pen.
I lost it on the way here, like on the plane. It fell out of my pocket. Right.
How'd you get it on the plane?
You can go on the.
Isn't that technically paraphernalia?
No, it's not. They don't care as long as it's put away. Like, and it's not
Yeah,
like
I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going to Portland, I saw no drug dogs. I was actually really shocked. I was like, "Whoa, where are the
Well, yeah,
drug
because
dogs?"
Portland is nobody's sending drugs to Portland because they get all their drugs from Canada, and they've got good weed up there,
Oh.
from what I hear.
From what you
But
hear, huh? Wink,
from what I
wink.
hear, but I've never been. But the dogs thing, like the drug dogs, they're mostly for like going to Mexico, going to other foreign countries because they're gonna make sure you don't carry anything with you.
Right.
But
Yeah, I mean that's true. When I went to Israel, I saw like 4 drug dogs sniffing like a whole row. That shit was crazy.
it's kind of
I was
scary.
like, I didn't even have drugs on me. Exactly, I didn't even have drugs on me, and I was like, oh shit, do I have drugs on me?
Yeah, like
I
you
was
just don't want to
low-key
get pulled
tripping out.
over for some bullshit. You're like, what the fuck? Like, this is not what you think it is. Yeah, I. I brought some with me. Not weed, but the cartridges, because it's easier to conceal and carry. That sounds like a weapon.
It does sound like a weapon.
But nobody's like questioning you, like, oh, why the fuck do you have this? It's more like, oh, you're like not allowed to bring this on the plane, or you're like not allowed to.
Right. But that's my point. You're not allowed to bring it on the plane, so they would confiscate it from you. No.
Yes and no. Like it depends. Like if the TSA wants to be an asshole, you know, like they're like looking, because they're looking for like more dangerous things, like actual drugs. You know.
Yeah.
Not saying that it's not a drug, but they're looking for like heroin, cocaine, prescription drugs. You know, most of the time, like prescription drugs, as long as you have them in a separate bag, they don't even question it. Like literally, it's one of those things. But yeah, I mean, 420, man, like it's a couple of things, right? It's Hitler's birthday. It's
oh fuck,
you know, it's Dogecoin Day.
Yeah, it's Doge Day. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been keeping up with Doge, but Doge.
Yeah, they had a huge fucking boom.
Yeah.
I'm like, so angry. I can't even.
Why? Because you sold your Doge off?
I bought in at 0.02.
02?
I bought in 300 at 0.02.
$300, bro? Do you know how much that is?
$300. Yes, bro. Now imagine how much money I would have, because I'm pretty sure it's at 40 cents a pop right now.
That's about how much money I made, because I dropped like $20 on it when it was when it wasn't in the tenths. It was like way before. I bought this back in like October. When like this like small hype between like influencers came along, like, oh, Dogecoin, the meme coin.
Right, when Elon tweeted, basically.
Well, he's been tweeting a lot about it lately because
no, but like his first like big tweet when he was like Doge to the moon, and then everybody was like to the moon.
That was also part of it too. Yeah. So it was. I bought it super cheap. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but like in my opinion, like young people are too emotionally attached to anything that they do that investing is not their forte. And I'm not talking shit about them, like anybody who has the Robinhood app and it's like, oh my god, I feel like an investor, look at me, I'm making money. No,
your homies all they're all into that, so I'm like, you gotta be careful, you know. Well, talking shit about them.
Yeah, no, it's not to talk shit about them, but we could talk a little bit of shit about them because, you know, being an investor.
Because they're our homies, right?
Yeah, because they're our homies. Yeah, who gives a fuck? I mean, like they're into it, but it's like, to me, it's like, you know, do you really know what you're doing? You know, because in my opinion, I think it's gambling. Like even
it is gambling. It's an educated gamble.
Right, it is an educated gamble because you can't tell. There's no future telling. There's only speculation. And like I look at it and I'm like, well, the stock market runs, yeah, kind of, but except the house always wins.
Literally,
the stock market is rigged. If like it is really rigged because there are people who know what's going on, and then we have to trust that the people who know what's going on are gonna play by the same rules that we do, right? I mean that we will. And this is kind of what happened with the GameStop thing.
With GameStop, yeah, exactly.
Right, like we had a young person who did their research, what they call like technical analysis. Basically, like he speculated that this company was undervalued, and then like, you know, made a bet, and it paid off. He made like $10 million or something like that off the $10,000 that he put down on that GameStop stock. And
it's fucking crazy.
And it's crazy because then you see all these like rich Wall Street investors, hating on the little guy for figuring out how to play the game, you know?
Right.
And like we have our friends who are like young people who are like maybe one of them or two of them like actually knows what they're doing, but for the most part, like I don't expect them to know what they're doing, and like unless you're like unless you got a degree in some sort of financial, like from sort of financial institution, then I don't really like take your words for gospel. I hope you know what you're talking about, and like hopefully you don't lose all of your money. But it's kind of like this vegan thing. It's like if you know what I mean. Like people like try to push it
Yeah,
on
it's like
you.
people are just jumping on it, basically.
Yeah, like people are like they push it on you. They're like, oh, yo, you should be reading this or you should be looking at that. Cause like I'm on my Instagram and I'm like looking at these posts and people were like sharing their portfolios and stuff. Like, good for you, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how to feel about that, honestly.
I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? A venture fucking capitalist or something? Like everybody's a fucking venture capitalist. Everyone's an investor. Everybody's doing their own thing. You know.
It's true.
Really, I mean, like, good for them. Like, this was never possible before, but just don't scream in my ear about it. You know, like, who?
No, I mean, I think it's more along the lines when it's like, if I eat, everyone else eats. So I think they're just trying to push that narrative in a sense. But the problem is, like you said, they're not an actual venture capitalist. So
or a hedge fund.
You don't know
manager.
if you can trust them with your own hard-earned money,
right?
and
Yeah, like
their advice.
yeah, like we're just speculating here. They're like reading articles. They're like in depth. They're like, oh my god, look what's happening. Oh look, they're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. It's like, okay, yeah, fine. I've kind of like stopped looking at stocks because I learned a long time ago that like if you aren't all in, like you're learning about how to invest and be a day trader, or you're like some kind of broker, or you ended up on Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know, or then I don't really care. But if you get lucky, you know, then that was luck. Like that had nothing to do with the hours you put in to, like, I don't know, read something. Like I don't think that's what made you rich. I think like you just got lucky. Right?
I mean, essentially it is, though. It's like, it's a repetition thing. It's a repetition thing that can lose you all your money. That's the scary part behind it. But with that being said, high risk, high reward. I'm not saying I'm going to like spend my life savings in investing in things that I think are going to boom or whatever, right? Like, I don't even have life savings like that to do that. But for the people who consistently are able to make a good amount of profit in their paycheck, or they've done well with their savings or whatever, like, then I don't think it's a bad idea to invest that in something that they believe will take off for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason that they believe it might take off, that's all just guessing. You know, you can't.
Oh yeah,
just
100%.
There's no like educated thing, like cryptocurrency, right? Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know enough to like be able to explain myself. And I think that's like one thing I hate about people who are like trying to tell you that like, oh, I always believed in this, I always believed in that. I'm like, shut the fuck up, right? Shut the fuck up. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. Like, it just pisses me off because like I know I'm like overreacting, but it's like you don't know shit, right? And I don't know shit either. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, can you just like take a chill pill and like stop telling other people that you know what you're doing and making it seem...
No, but see, I think the thing is, it's a sense of accomplishment when you do get something right. And these people, when they achieve that accomplishment, they're like, I need to share the fact that I actually did that. It's more of a show thing rather than, you know, it's like, it's a show and gloat thing. Like straight up, that's honestly, that's what these people are like putting their portfolios on Instagram and all that shit. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck happened to moving in silence? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like nobody gives a fuck about your like $1,000 Dogecoin investment a year ago, and then now it finally paid off. Like, bro, you're like, you probably did it like because you're like, oh, this is fun and I have money to burn, and then now it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's blowing up, and you're telling everybody, see, I knew I was right all along, this and that, blah blah blah. There's this guy like that on Twitter. His name is Peter Schiff. He's like that about Bitcoin. He's like talking about it as if like Bitcoin is this scam. Like people are falling for something that they shouldn't be. Now,
right.
As much.
But Bitcoin. Sorry to.
No, go. Yeah.
Fuck your sorry. Actually, we don't say sorry.
Yeah, we don't say sorry.
But with Bitcoin, like big companies are investing in Bitcoin. So is it a scam? I don't know. Like Venmo's about to start taking it. PayPal has already started taking it. You know,
you're absolutely right.
It's starting to pop off.
What do you know about it? Since what you've heard, because you actually know a little bit, since you mentioned that companies are allowing you to pay with Bitcoin and they're adopting it. What do you think? What do you think about it?
I mean, I don't I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything about Bitcoin. Like I clearly don't. But I do. I just remember when I was younger and I wanted to go on the dark web. Like that was the main currency. And it was because it was untraceable, and that for somehow it accumulated for a certain amount of actual US dollars. I don't know how, but that's what I know about it.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's.
Feel free to inform me though.
Well, I mean, all I know about it
interested in learning.
is that it's basically blockchain technology. It's what some see it as a new form of currency. Some people see it as an asset. Like buying a home. It the value of it can increase, but it's, I don't know if it's, I'm gonna use a big word, volatile, as a home. I mean, no, Bitcoin is volatile, right? Because it goes up and it goes down. Yeah, like most cryptocurrencies.
It's all cryptocurrency, though. Exactly.
Yeah, and like there's so many of these coins out, these crypto coins out there and tokens that like, people, I don't know, man. Like, there's so many resources on the internet to educate yourself about it that I'm not really the person to like explain it fully. As much as I know, it's like, it's seen as an asset. Like people who buy Bitcoin, if you're like buying it because you want to hold on to it for the rest of your life or something.
Yeah.
I think I fall into that kind of category where I feel like this is something that is going to grow. Even if you only have $5 in it, $1, $10, whatever it may be. I think like the process of learning of what a cryptocurrency, what a wallet is, all that stuff. I think that's cool. Like, I think like that there should be some level of education around that, because young people should be more educated, and then should also be educated on the risks of what it is. Like, if you lose all your Bitcoin, no one's going to pay you back for it. It's not backed by the government. The SEC and the FDC or the Federal Reserve or whatever, they're not when you can't put your Bitcoin in the bank, so they're not going to insure it. Like, you put money in the bank, they'll insure it up to $250,000, right? So it's kind of like those things, because the bank is not going to go out of business. Well, they're too big to fail, right? They're too big to fail, versus a small, well, relatively speaking, an exchange, right? Like Coinbase, Robinhood, Acorns, Cash App, all those things, they could go out of business, right? They could be liquidated, right? And they have they're holding on to your Bitcoin. Well, that's too bad. You're not getting any of that back because they're not insured or whatever. And it's just like things like that.
Damn, that's crazy to think about.
Right, because like there's so many cool things, right? When it comes to like getting into the space, it's like, oh my god, like I'm gonna put half of my check into it or something. They're gonna, and then like they see that it like crashes, and then they immediately sell. I mean, I'm not one to say that don't let your emotions get in the way, because my emotions get in the way of doing things all the time.
Right.
But I mean, if we talk about like doing things based on your emotions versus based on your logic, when you do things based on emotion, most of the time it doesn't work out very well.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I always tell people after a heartbreak, trust your head, not your heart. Straight up.
Trust your head.
Like your mind has thought the entire time, like what you've been going through, and then you finally realize what it is, but your heart is telling you like, nah, I've been here for a while, this is what I want to do, type of shit. It's just like, nah, man, you got to think logically in those moments.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's not bad at being an emotional thinker too, though. It's actually, emotional intelligence is one of the strongest suits you could have in life.
Yeah, being able to control them, understand when you're going to feel a certain type of way. But but I mean, enough about cryptocurrency, because we hardly know enough to tell anybody anything, right? But I mean, if people are interested, I'd recommend downloading the Coinbase app and just like doing that. Not the Robinhood one though, because Robinhood doesn't allow you to transfer your crypto out of their platform. Yeah. And things like that.
Yeah, they only allow you to sell it, and then you can
hold on to
take whatever you sell and then reimburse it into your bank.
Yeah. It's like that. I'm kind of I'm actually like not a fan of Robinhood anymore.
Yeah, I mean they've just been doing stupid, shady shit. Like,
yeah, like call it
I don't
shady,
know.
call it what you want. You know, they're. I don't know. Like I think it's cool. Like they introduce a whole generation of people into investing.
Yeah,
Um,
very true. Very true. I mean, they had a fucking wonderful, I wouldn't say scheme, but they literally said, like, make an account, invite your friends, and you get a free stock per account that joins. Like, how
yeah,
smart
a
is that?
referral program. Yeah, referral programs work. Uh, they do work pretty well.
Well, they worked for this one, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and I
'Cause
mean
I had
people.
multiple people invite me to fucking Robinhood, and I finally said one to one of our friends, and I was just like, all right, fine. And that stock that I got was like $13 a pop. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not bad because I didn't pay shit for $13 stock.
Yeah, and that's
I don't know.
that's what's up because I like that, you know, people even if they if they don't get totally into it, maybe there's like a level of like, oh, you know, the stocks open and close every day. They aren't open on the weekends.
Yeah,
Like the
they learned the basics of it, just not going into intermediate
yeah.
details.
Yeah,
Basically,
unlike the cryptocurrency market, which is open 24/7. Like there's no governing body to say, "Oh, we're going to close the markets down." So, you know, if you lost all your money, wait till Monday. Um
right?
that's what
See,
I
that's the scary thing, though,
fuck
too.
fuck them. Fuck those Wall Street bros. Bro, cuz they know what's happening. They're afraid to admit that like decentralized banking, right? Like not having to go to the bank to have all your shit
Hmm.
done is going to be the future. They're going to try so hard, you know, for that not to be the case because education is the key. Like if you don't tell people that like um you know the risks involved, like there are real
Yeah,
risks involved in like owning your own, like being in charge of your own finances. But that comes with anything, right?
right. If you don't share knowledge, you basically have the power. Like
Yeah.
it's, I mean, at the end of the day, knowledge is power.
And we have to
Straight up.
trust that the banks are telling us that their balance sheets, you know, their books are all level or all balanced, you know? That
There's no way. There's no way.
like look at what happened in 2008. You know,
Yeah,
we were cucked
precisely.
and we were told,
We're
I mean,
kind
well, not we, I'm saying we like as if I was affected, but like as a young person when you learn about it, you know, I think like what you all you learn is that like the government bailed out these banks who were giving out
Mhm.
mortgages that were being backed by these securities, right? These debt insurances,
Yeah.
and they were handing out these loans to people who could not pay them back, right? And it got out of hand.
Knowing
Knowing,
that they could never
yeah,
be paid back.
knowing that they wouldn't be able to afford paying them back. So I assume, so like, as a young person, like I look back at that and I'm like, okay, what is it that led up to that? Even though like I'm not super smart, but like enough Google searches will lead you to an answer. I think
Yeah. There's a rabbit hole.
there's a
Always.
bit of a rabbit hole. I mean, the gist of it is like, you know, the banks, you know, lended money, couldn't pay
Mhm.
any of it back, and then they took ours. And then the government was like, "Look, you guys are too big to fail. We can't let this happen again." But there's so
Yeah.
many people who like were left without anything. The GameStop thing was like
Sadly.
a renaissance for some people who had staked some of their savings or whatever into that, and and it paid off. And then the government
Sure.
was like, well, not the government, the the Wall Street elite were like, y'all can't be playing this game from the comfort of your home. Like,
Right, and that's the crazy thing, right? Is like the whole GameStop thing took off because of one person's Reddit post, and he was just like, "Yo, I've done my research.
mhm.
You should invest in this." And people were like looking at it, and they were like, "Well, I don't know." But the people who were just like, "All right, I'll trust this random ass dude who's part of Reddit Wall Street Bets," I believe was the subreddit. I I don't know. It's crazy. And what's even crazier is I don't know if you know who Mark Cuban is.
Of course, the CEO
Yeah.
of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. So
He's a
when the
billionaire.
GameStop craze kind of started to die down, right? Mark Cuban actually put up a Reddit post and he was saying how proud he is of like the Reddit Wall Street Bet subreddit
Mhm.
that they're trying to go for the man, like the big power, you know, and I don't know, it was just really cool because I'm like, this dude's a fucking,
He's a billionaire.
I know he's a billionaire and he's on our side in a sense, kind of.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's on our side while holding hands with China, but that's not a big deal because that's business, right? It's just business, nothing personal. And I mean, you can use Bitcoin to buy Mavericks tickets. You know, they take
way.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew this. Yeah, he like adopted Bitcoin.
So bad.
Tesla adopted Bitcoin, PayPal, Venmo. See, like,
yeah.
I was talking to somebody about this not so long ago. It's like you're gonna hear about all these big companies adopting Bitcoin as a form of payment, or they're gonna start adding it. Yeah, and they're gonna start adding it to their balance sheet, and they're gonna hold assets in Bitcoin, right? Because it's a real, like, they're looking at it as an asset, right? And some people look at it as a currency. Like, there's the maximalist, that's what they call them, are people who are gonna who believe Bitcoin is just the currency of the future, and that's all it ever will be. Like, it'll all be cryptocurrency, peer-to-peer transactions. We'll never have to go to a bank or an ATM. Everything will be done online.
How do you feel about that? You believe that's the case going forward?
I don't believe, like, okay, so I'm like teetering towards, like, yeah, crypto is like the future,
right?
Versus like, oh, like the dollar is never gonna leave, like it'll always be around. The dollar is tied to the oil, to oil, right? It's tied to oil. Oil is finite, right? It's gonna run out eventually. Like, maybe there's going to be this, what the Federal Reserve wants to do is create a cryptocurrency that is tied to the dollar, right? 1 for 1.
Okay.
1 for 1. That's what they call stable coins, right? It's not volatile. It's literally just tied to the dollar, where it would be easier for them to keep track of money that flows in and out. The problem is that I think that to answer your question is, like, that I don't believe it's going to be all the future, all the currency and the whole, like, the way we pay for each other, pay for everything. No, I think it'll be an option, because I think what will happen is Bitcoin will lead to the, like, it'll show off a lot of, what is it, corruption? Because the way transactions on the blockchain work is that everybody can see the transaction, right? So there's no discrepancy between, like, oh, I went to the bank, and the bank is being asked, oh, can you show us what's on page 7? And then they're like, oh, this is what's on page 7, and you have to trust that what they tell you is on page 7. Versus Bitcoin, where if I pay you, there's an immediate there's a contract made, right? There's a key that's generated, and you and I have made a transaction. You and I are now, on the ledger. The ledger is the book in which all transactions are kept, and everybody has a copy of that book, not just the bank, right? Somebody's like, oh, I don't believe that you bought this, so and so, and it's on page 8. I'm like, all right, well, let's double check. Everybody goes to page 8, and everybody has the same pages, same numbers, and it's constantly being updated. There are people who are constantly, updating the ledger, right? So you can see every transaction ever made, right? Even down to the very first Bitcoin mined. So I was talking to somebody. I was like, look, in the future, if someone is allowed to buy a home, I could walk up to the homeowner and say, hey, may I buy your home off you? Or he's like, I'm selling it, I'll accept Bitcoin. We don't have to go to the bank, right? We don't have to go to a third person. I don't have to go to a realtor. He pulls out his phone or whatever, his wallet. And I'm like, boom, I just sent you X amount of Bitcoin for your home. And he hands me the deed, and the transaction is final.
See, that's an interesting take, because recently there was an article that talks about how there's now people that are breeding electronic horses. and they're having, bro.
I just
they
got
are
sent
having. We are so much in the future that they are having fucking. What do they call it? The racetrack horse racing. Is that what it is? Think so.
Yes.
I'm
Let me pull it
not
up.
positive. Yeah, but we are so much in the future that people are literally betting actual money on digital horses, and they're having them. Like, people are breeding digital horses. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, what?
Okay, so here, like, let me pull. Okay, so people are breeding
This
digital
shit is
horses and
crazy.
spending real money. Tamagotchi meets Churchill Downs in one of the sport's newest crypto trends. Zed Run, I guess that's the name of the game. The online game, which has generated hype and consternation in equal measure, allows for digital horse ownership, racing, trading, and yes, breeding.
Breeding.
All right. I'm pulling up
What?
the article right now. Bro, okay, so like that's insane.
That shit is just crazy
Okay,
to
so
me, bro. It's like
It's crazy.
I don't.
And like, to me
I don't even know
now,
how to
it
explain
just
it.
seems like the norm, because remember we talked about this with NFTs, right? With
Yes,
digital,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like digital goods that you own that are like tied to you on the blockchain, right? Because like I said, like if the blockchain says you own it because I bought it from you, no one's gonna dispute that, because it's final. So it says here, Australia-based studio Virtually Human, that's what the name of it is called, Virtually Human, launched Zed in early 2019, selling 4,450 digital horses that year with an average price of about $30. All right. It relied on NFT technology. All right.
One went for $125,000.
Damn, fuck. I wish I had known about this back then. It says,
Bruh,
dude, did that
I'm like,
an
I am
average
so
price of
shocked.
$30?
When I read that
bro?
article,
That ain't shit.
nah, heck, you might buy one. Shit.
It relied on NFT technology to establish proof of ownership and allow for secondary transactions on sites like OpenSea. OpenSea is another like nifty gateway where you can buy, and these digital art pieces. I guess the NFT technology, right, was used for the horses, right, because they're individual, unique horses. It says it's up to nearly 11,000 horses sold, with another 8,000 bred, spread across 3,600 so-called stables. Wow. Rare horses are now regularly selling for more than 15,000. One horse sold for 125K. Yeah, bro, I just got this article this morning from James. He's like,
Oh, no way. That's hilarious.
yeah, we've had hockey stick growth the last 4 weeks. Yeah, right. It just went that way. Right. It just goes that way. The hockey stick thingy. In Zed horses, it said the human co-founder, Chris Elberg, said the world has taken notice. In Zed, horses are differentiated by a number of factors with established breeds and bloodlines, tracing back to horses Zed created as coveted Genesis racers. What the fuck? Their odds of winning any given race are hidden to users, with their race history providing the best information on their assigned prowess. Okay, so like that would make sense. That like the history of the horse, I'm like a virtual horse breeding, like how the fuck does that take into account its chances of winning?
Right.
I guess that makes sense. Like if you study a horse long enough, you might be able to predict if it's a winning horse or not.
I mean, it's digital. Like, how do you even... What?
It says other factors like weather conditions, track location could impact results as well. Wait, what is this? Is this a video game?
This is my point.
This is a video game where
literally a fucking video game.
This is GTA Online Casino, bro. Literally, like if we had the option to own anything that they sell us in that game as an NFT, this is just gambling on a new level of NFTs, right? It's all fake business.
It's crazy, bro. We are in the future. Like, we are dead ass about to have... I know we joked about it last time with Cyberpunk, but we might actually have like mirror dances at this fucking point.
Brain dances, you mean?
Like,
or what are they
brain
called?
dances,
Brain dances,
yeah. I think they are brain dances, yeah. Like, what if... Because you know what's crazy? The fucking NBA is doing this too. They're basically creating their own NFTs of certain iconic like sports moments, and they're selling them, bro. So what if we somehow develop a way to take our own memories or like celebrity memories and straight up create brain dances for that shit, and you sell it,
bro?
Shit,
that's crazy.
The future is about to be so crazy, dude.
That's
so crazy.
It's like that Abstergo shit from Assassin's Creed,
Yeah, exactly.
There's this
Exactly.
evolutionary biologist that's like afraid, right? Like he's like trying to develop the theory of everything.
Mm.
And he's afraid that we're going to get to that point where we're going to monetize our experiences, right? And that
Yeah.
if the case may be that our experiences on this level of dimension is just that, but we find out that there's a higher level of existence that just breaks everything, and it's possible that we might find a way to monetize it, and it might not be good for us. That's what he's saying. I might be butchering his...
You know, honestly, it's weird how much I agree with that. Like, if we find a way to monetize that, I don't know. I think humanity might go crazy. Straight up. It's, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of want to buy a virtual horse now. Like what the
I'll
fuck?
buy one with you. I'll buy one with you.
We'll go
after
half.
this.
Yeah, we'll buy a breed. We'll look for a nice horse, dude. Yeah. So like
This shit is crazy, bro.
this guy. So this guy says he said that he found the horse racing terminals, the animated ones at casinos, to be really stupid. He said that. Let me see what he's trying to. Because he says, in my world, Zed, the name of the game, is real.
Yeah.
Ebling said, it exists on a parallel timeline to ours. It's quantum physics. It's 2150 on a planet called Nova's Earth. On this Earth, digital horse racing reigns supreme. I like that. It's been put in place to balance out wealth. Zed owners are able to use augmented reality tech to view their horse as if it was in their room. Woo! That's sick,
this
bro.
This shit is just...
Bro,
I can't even...
let me get the HoloLens. You know that Microsoft HoloLens, bro? Literally, that's all it is, bro. Augmented reality. That's fucking incredible. Teleporting them from a parallel timeline. Oof. With an entire world to explore, there's plenty of room to grow, he said. And in particular, he focused on the ways people could make a living within Zed by owning horses, managing stables or for others, reporting on developments, or in the future, hosting digital events that become Zed's equivalent of the Kentucky Derby. Damn, I feel like we should get in on this.
Wow. No, I'm for sure. I'm buying one, like 100%.
Real
this
world
is
business.
The future, bro. I'm all in at this point. Like, there's no other way to put it. Just remember this saying, David. If you didn't get into the future, then you're a grasshopper. That's all I got to say.
If you didn't get into the future, then you're a grasshopper. All right, I'm going to figure that one out. Don't tell me what it means.
No. Just look into it, and you'll figure out what grasshopper is. Like, that shit is crazy, bro.
So, like,
crazy. Genesis 2021.
That's what we want, right? You want that Ready Player One existence, right? We're heading towards there.
No, we are so close.
Like with this guy wants us to be able to walk around in a digital world and share our digital items, like our NFTs, like that's cool. Like if you own an item and its digital signature is yours, that's great, right? Like if the game,
it's an asset. It's literally an asset.
Yeah, literally an asset. Like, and if it can make you money, like great, it's passive income. He said. Let's see. It's still in beta. Should they add jockeys? Should the horses die? On the outside, others are questioning whether the NFT world is here to stay, especially as prices come down from their March highs, which is fine. Again, because like if people are into this kind of stuff, you shouldn't really think about like making money. Like if it's more of an like that's the problem with poor people, bro. Poor people don't have money to invest.
Yeah,
they just
indeed. Don't. And you don't. It's not even just investing at that point. It's like you don't have money to literally put on something that can just screw you over. It's scary.
Yeah, and so
high risk, high reward though. Like I live by that.
I just went ahead and followed them on Twitter. Buy and own horses. I'm gonna look into this motherfucking shit. It's crazy. I love it. I love the future.
I love that you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's so weird that you brought that up. I did not expect you to bring that up because I was looking at it. I like brushed it off. I'm like, I get it. Horses, NFTs, no big deal. But then when you brought it up, it just got me excited.
Because it's crazy. Like when you actually read that article, and I think they even have pictures on it if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I just saw like a race right now. Yeah, just like a small clip of it.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this? And then I realized what it was. I'm like, this shit is literally a video game where people put actual money into it, and people are addicted to horse gambling, like horse racing.
I mean, gambling in general. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but the Kentucky Derby is a huge event.
It is.
It's a very big event.
It's just, it's a rich people's sport, yeah.
It is. I mean, you know,
polo F1. Yeah,
cricket.
No, you got it. Yeah,
there's a bunch of fucking.
No, but continue, yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's the crazy shit, man. Is like if it gets that big and you were there at the beginning, or well, I mean, this isn't really the beginning.
It's kinda.
Nah, because look, if there's an article out already, you're already late. Like.
That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I feel you. You're right.
A stocks 101.
Yeah.
You're just hearing about it, you're already late.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. It's pretty fucking crazy. It's really crazy. And all this on 420 is the most wild shit.
Yeah, now I'm kind of like sad that I don't have anything to smoke. Nah, but I'll be smoking later.
I dig it. You got it.
Yeah. What's our timeline real quick? What's it say on your?
We are at 41:20.
41:20. All right, do you want to talk about? Let's pick up another topic. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you wanted to bring up?
No. I mean, my last one would be a sports topic, but you don't really know sports like that. So.
Bro, hit me with the 1-2 kung fu. what you got? You got anything? What is it? Anything special other than like the?
I mean, I was just going to talk
League?
about. Well, yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
I know a little. Honestly, I only know a little bit of it. I just heard that players are upset. I'm not sure, to be honest, why they're. Is it maybe because of the scheduling?
No. So what it is that if you join the Super League, from what I've read, I don't fully know this, but from what I've read, if you join the Super League and you participate in it, then you are disqualified from like the Premier League, the Spanish Premier League, like that type of shit, because it's its own league. It's literally its own league.
Right, yeah, it's a UEFA league, a European.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they're saying
stupid.
that you're disqualified from the big, like
your domestic,
generational, the domestic. Exactly.
Yeah, I did read a little bit on that because I was super curious. I just like, why are people getting so upset? Like, nobody gives a fuck about a Super League. Like, just leave the domestics alone, and like Champions League is fun because their new format is coming out where there's going to be a bigger pool of players and more, like there's going to be a different system. I should have sent you guys the video essentially I think in 2 years, or it's going to change. The format will change for Champions League, so there'll be more lower division teams, I believe, competing. And they'll have a second chance at like being able to just compete or whatever. I don't know like the specifics.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the football world is getting ready for just no more Ronaldo or Messi. Like, who's going to take the reins?
I mean,
you got Mbappe. You know,
I feel like it's I think it's like a knee-jerk reaction to what happened during the pandemic. Maybe they know something we don't, right? Maybe it's like, well, we need that revenue of people like watching the big games. Right, that's what I was
going to say.
Like,
exactly.
It kind of pisses me off that there aren't crowds in the stadiums anymore. I'll be honest. It's just weird. Like, where's the fucking energy at? And I hate the simulated sounds, man, because it's distracting.
But it's all fucking, it's the same sounds that you would hear from a crowd.
Or FIFA. Or some FIFA shit.
Yeah, if you play FIFA, then
that's just
very annoyed. You're sick of that shit by that point.
Yeah, and I'm sick of it because it doesn't sound, because it's the same track and it's like, I don't know. It's whatever. I mean, we can move on from that. I mean, I know the sports world it's not gonna stop because there's too much money involved. You know, it's
way too much money.
Yeah, this is not something like that can be figured out in like a year. It's gonna take a couple of years before they realize
this shit is a business, like
fat business.
Like, we only hear, or not only, well, yeah, for the most part, we only hear about like the player wages and the coaches' wages, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about all the staff that is involved in making all that shit happen, the travel expenses, the food and catering, bruh, it's a business. Like,
yeah, mad one. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to go to a basketball game now because I've been thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Lakers are allowing fans.
Yeah.
But it's also for nosebleeds. I looked the other day; it was $120 for a nosebleed.
What does that mean?
The nosebleeds are the highest seats at Lakers
Why do
Stadium
they call them nosebleeds?
because you're so high up that the altitude's different.
That's
Nosebleed.
funny.
I can't believe you've never heard that. What the
Nah,
fuck?
I've never had to sit that high before. I've gone
Yeah,
to a
very
baseball
true.
game and sat in like the bleachers at the top all the way.
Yeah, those are the nosebleeds.
Ah, okay. Cool.
And they're like, the tickets were what, like $30 probably for the Dodger game?
Like 15?
Yeah,
Almost
exactly.
free.
Nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Nosebleeds are lit though. Like,
No,
I
they are
love
lit
the nosebleeds.
For a baseball game. Yeah. Yeah, like
yeah, I mean, you know, when that, what do you call it? The beach ball pops all the way up there. That shit's lit. That shit is
are they
lit.
allowing people back in? I know Dodger Day was opening day was like no.
Yeah, no, they have people at Dodger
Just
Stadium.
not full capacity.
Nah,
Ah.
no chance.
I just the Derek Chauvin case is still going on.
Yeah.
The jury
Yeah,
the jury is deciding on the verdict.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it in Portland, and I was just getting really frustrated. Yeah.
I want to say I listened to both closing arguments, like to the best of my abilities, and just like my opinion, like it's this. It sucks what happened to George Floyd. It's a tragedy.
Indeed.
He didn't have to die that day. It's clear that like the prosecutors made a really good case as to say, well, like the closing argument basically was like, you know, he did not have to die that day. Like there are so many increments of time in a day. This is how they explained it, that the 10 minutes in that one day is what caused him to die. You know, Derek Chauvin is the reason he died. That's what the case they're making. And in a court of law, you know, because we have to look at this objectively, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it was Derek Chauvin's knee himself who killed George Floyd, which is an act of homicide. Right?
Indeed.
Now, I mean, this is due process. This is what I know our judicial system is fucked in some ways. Like, there are a lot of people who you know, go to jail for the wrong reasons, who are falsely accused. Like I hear about this all the time, and it freaking sucks. I'm not saying that like Derek Chauvin didn't have a history of misconduct, and maybe in some ways that led him. Again, like this is just my opinion, but like all the facts and everything laid out is in the court's hearings. It's one thing for me to say something and say, yeah, he needs to go to jail, he needs to rot, like, oh, they should give him the death penalty or something like that. But man, like, as an like, I try to be objective. I'm not saying I am all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say one thing and then like immediately do the opposite. But this whole trial, like, it's like, you know, it's the public opinion versus whatever happens. Dude, if they find him not guilty, I think like, you know, Minnesota is going to be in riots for like weeks or something. I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, essentially, you know, and it's, I don't know. I mean, it's so tough because like at the end of the day, someone did die, and what may or may not have been the reason that he died, right? More
the cause,
leaning
basically,
towards, the cause, more leaning towards why that I believe he died. You know, like not everyone's going to agree with that, and the people that will agree with that will want him to be put in jail.
Yeah, and like some people.
But if he doesn't go to jail, it's going to be some hell. It's going to be some hell for sure.
No, and it's like, and then if he does, and if he is found guilty,
right?
Like too many people, I have a strong feeling that it won't be justice served, right? Until he's like, I don't know, like
So you think it can go either way? That could, I mean, obviously,
like it doesn't matter, like whether he
riot,
like if he goes to jail, no one's gonna be happy. If he doesn't go to jail, it'll just be worse from the lesser actions. Because I mean, it's a matter of police reform, not abolishment, in my opinion. Like, it's so easy.
I mean, that's fair.
It's so easy for us to just say, oh, fucking get rid of the police. Okay. Who are you going to call? Your community members? Like, I get it when you're from a small town. Like, let's say, like in Mexico, like my family's small, like, town. Pueblo. That's a community. You know, there's police in the area, but that's a community. Like, they can handle it themselves. Like, that's the kind of shit that happens, because over there, it's not like we have a modern society with civil laws that, like, normally protect people through due process. You know, a lot of times people take their matters into their own hands over there. Here in America, I think, like, there's a lack of that, you know, where if it's a dispute between two people that can be easily handled, why you got to call the police? Unlike,
I think the biggest problem is how do you reform police, right?
Mm-hmm.
When their job requires them to be on a fight or flight.
Constantly.
You know? Yeah. How do you reform that?
Stop letting anybody just be a cop.
Nah, but see, it's not even. Look, and I'm all for reform and abolishment and all that. Honestly, I am.
Well, wait. No, well, you got to be specific, because, like, you can't be for abolishment and reform, because
But I can, because I feel like if reform is done right, but the problem is, how do you do it right? And if you can't do it right, then I believe you should abolish it. But the problem is there's no fucking answer. Like, that's the biggest problem, right? It's like, what was it? The UK, when they pulled out of the United Nations. Was it UK, if I remember correctly?
The Brexit thing?
Yeah, Brexit, exactly. Like, how do you do that right?
Takes years.
It takes years, right? So that's the biggest thing, is everyone's like, oh, reform the police. But for generations to come, we don't even know how to do that. Like, we really don't. Because you can't train people as human beings who have hormones. You can't train people to learn how to control their fight or flight. It's just not possible, bro. It's in you or it's not. But that's my take on it. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my
you're good.
Audio cut out for a second. Had to look somewhere else. Okay, going back to where's our? Okay.
I'm gonna let you finish your talk, and then just so you know, we're officially at 53 minutes.
We're 53. So. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'll wrap it up. Okay. See, like, as young people, man, it's like, you think we'd be smarter in finding ways to deal with the representatives in our state, and to make it clear to them that you are also part of the problem, because they don't press on the wound, right, to get what they want. Without going too far off one side, it's like the squad in the Congress, right? Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Cortez, like the female squad of senators who are young, vibrant, the progressives, they are gaslighting this movement, because they think it's a way to get back at the system that has been hurting the people that they represent. And it bothers me so much, because they have they have the ability to get what they want, but they don't have the spine. You know, I'm not one to say that I have spine to do anything. I mean, I have the courage to do some things, but I'm not a politician. So,
right.
Like, you know, my opinion on politicians, like, if you're a politician, you should be able to, you should be open about everything that you're up to. And there should be certain limits on your power when it comes to being a politician, because you're not a private citizen anymore, in my opinion. You know, I'm
No,
not
you're
saying.
definitely not.
I think like we had a case where Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, she made a huge investment into Microsoft, you know, weeks
Yeah,
prior.
I remember seeing
So
that.
it's one of those things. It's like, why they're taking advantage of the system that they helped create, and there's a revolving door of people who are just like, you know, once they're fired or they quit, they go and work for a Goldman Sachs company or this huge bank, and then they talk to the lobbyists who are in touch with the people in Congress. So it's like it's just this revolving door of people where anytime they fuck up, which is a good example with like Governor Cuomo, like he underreported the deaths in nursing homes, like that's really fucked up, and it got covered
Right.
up with like all these sexual misconduct allegations, many of them which hold no water and have yet to be proven, but have been so distracting of what really happened and the devastating impact of the pandemic on people who were already hurting, right? But the dude wins an Emmy, dude's getting a book deal, dude's doing all this and that. He's being investigated by the FBI. So, you know,
Yeah.
but again, he's not going to go to jail. He's not going to go to jail. He's going to go home.
He probably won't. He'll just have to resign.
He'll probably just get like a nightly news show on CNN and talk about his reflection, like, oh, how much I learned from this process, like everything I've done, like it's changed me. Like, shut the fuck up. Who, like
Okay,
grown men, bro.
so
These are grown
what-
people, bro. It's so weird.
what does that have to do with reforming the police, though? You
That-
just mean
that's
like
true. I
they
don't know,
just don't have the spine
Yeah.
in order to advocate for.
No, it's more like understanding that the people, like police officers are humans too. Like you're right, their fight or flight response, like it's a constant thing. Like they're not trained properly. There's no like de-escalation protocols, or like they're not therapists. They're not there to, or social workers either, bro. They're not these people, right? And it's like, is that what we demand of our police? Like, is that what requires you for you to be able to be a police officer, not just protect your community, not just arrest people? You know, there's got to be more to what you, to you, if you want to become an officer. Like, you got to maybe get a college degree and like something, you know, I don't know.
Fair. I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and a college degree now is just the equivalent of a fucking high school degree. So, you know,
oh, don't tell me that.
I don't want to, but it's easier to accept and move on, because like, I mean, it makes sense in some ways that police officers need some kind of higher education or better training. Really, I mean, like not everybody is a cop, not everybody. Even if you want to protect people, I don't think you're in good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, you know. Because that was the defense. Derek Chauvin's case was like, they were like, yeah, any reasonable police officer, you know, leading up to the events of his death, you know, this is the case he made for Chauvin. And then the defense was that, well, he should never have done that, you know.
But see, the problem, the problem with Chauvin's case is he has multiple fucking run-ins with doing something wrong.
Some kind of misconduct,
like it's kind of evident at that point. It's like, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not saying that he has continuously abused people, essentially. I mean, I don't fully know. Some of that misconduct is for sure there. But I'm saying more along the lines that it's not like Chauvin went into it like, I want to kill this man. Like, I don't think that was the case. But at the end of the day, there is a man who died.
Yeah,
and
who didn't?
There was perfect reasons as to why he died, i.e., you know, his fucking jugular was, you know.
Well, dude, it's crazy because like in the court,
Yeah.
you know, they talk a lot about his oxygen and CO2 levels, all that shit, like levels of whatever else he had in the system. Yeah, man, it's tough enough to say that like it's difficult to talk about, have an adult conversation without someone...
I'm getting emotional rather than logical at this current moment.
But we'll wrap it up. I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in to Thinking Out Loud. I am sorry. I apologize. Oh shit, fuck. Oh, oops, I did it again. I don't apologize for not being back in the studio, but we have not missed a week. We're on episode 10. We upload weekly on Wednesdays. Thank you so much for making it this far, because most of you never make it this far. If you did, we appreciate you. We really do, because it may seem like we don't put any effort into it. It's kind of true. I mean, no, but we do. I try to make sure that we get you your show on Wednesdays. I know it was late last week, but I'll Wednesdays. Tune in.
Yeah.
Please and thank you so much. This was fun doing it on Twitch, because it's live and.
Oh yeah, we were live.
Yeah, we've been live this whole time, so it's like if we fucked up or anything, like no excuses.
And then it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.